Hi, everyone. Welcome to Live with Janome. I'm Hein, embroidery software specialist for Janome America. And today on Live, we're talking about the Clipart library within the Artistic Digitizer software. So let me go ahead and I'll pull up a proper hello here. Let me close that window. There we go. So welcome everyone to Live. As I said, today we're going to be talking about using the Clipart library and how to create Clipart to add to it. And what's nice about the Clipart library is you'll have things very handy right there at the very top of your page. So it's very easy. Some things you can put in Clipart and some things you can't. And we're going to talk about that as we go along and how you can use the Clipart library. So let me open my software and we'll get started with that. So hang on one second. We'll go over here and I'll open the software. There we are. Now this is the welcome page. So when you first open your software, it always opens to this. If for some reason some things aren't showing, there's a little collapse arrow here. Sometimes you've made your boxes really big, so some things don't show, but that's okay. This is where you set your default hoop. So every time I open it and create a new page, I will get this hoop. And this is my fabric and my embroidery category that I'm going to use, the color of my fabric. You don't actually check, it's a fabric graphic actually. So let's go to create new. Here's my hoop. Now, when you go to the Clipart library, it's found under the Tools tab at the very top. Now, you won't be able to see mine because of the way my screen capture works. But when I click on it, you get your options within there. And the Clipart library is at the bottom. And you can do Insert Clipart or Create. So let's do Insert. Here's our list of Clipart. And you can scroll through like this with your wheel on your mouse. You can come down here and you can go, actually, here we go. There we go. You can search by name, or you can come over here and search by a tag, like that. So there we are at our flowers. And then you can pick any one that's in here. So I'm going to pick this one. You'll notice some of the arrows go up. Let me find some different ones. Some will go across this way. That's just the direction it's going to build in your piece. So if you wanted to put it in a particular spot, that's how you would know. And you can always move it around afterwards. So let's find that flower that I like. Here it is, this one. I'm going to click Insert. And when I do, I get this little crosshair. Do you see that? And I'm going to click and drag my piece. And that's how it goes. So if I wanted it, maybe up here, I could do that. Or if I wanted it to be over there, I could do it that way. So whatever, you can move them afterwards. And then I can resize it as well. So when this comes in, you can see over here, it's a step fill. All the pieces are connected or grouped right now. So when I select one, I get all of them. So I can ungroup them if I want to work with different parts of it. And so let's go in close and take a look at this. It is a step fill. So I can pick parts of it and I could change the pattern of my step fill. I could actually change the type of stitch that's in there, like maybe these center ones. I want them as a satin. So I'm going to come over here and pick a satin like that. So I can make any changes to this that I want. I can change the color. I can create other things with this. I've used this design and turned it into a cut file for vinyl. I've used it for a cut work design. So I've did cut work and then filled this with net as it goes through. So I've used it for embroidery. So there's a lot of different things you can do with the designs that are in here. So as I mentioned, there's a way to add your creations to the Clipart library. And to do that, let's go ahead and we will find a design that I want to add. And I have these quilt textures here. And I'm going to actually center this one. Now this was created in a MC 15,000, so it comes in that hoop, of course, but I can always change that hoop if I want to, and I can save it into my Clipart library just like this anyways. So the first thing you want to do is when I select this design, I do know that it has stitches, okay? It's not a raw design, and we'll talk about that in a bit. I have it selected. I just go up to my tool tab again, Clipart Library, and then I click on Create Clipart. And when I do that, I get this little crosshair. So now I can create that line, whether I want that arrow diagonal or straight or up and down, whichever I want. So I can just click and do this and let go. And you can see it's popped up here. It's a new object, so I can name it. And then the size it is right now. And then I could put a tag there as well. So the name of this one, I like to put my own creations near the top. So I might want to do A1 or O1 and maybe texture. Or I can name it any way I want. So over here, I could put in the tag box, double click in there. I could put texture, quilt, I don't know, maybe run line, something like that. And then what I'm going to do is now that I'm done, I'm going to hit the return button or enter so that now that it's in there. Let's close that and we'll go back to the tools, Clipart Library. Let's go to Insert. And there it is across there. Now, this is how it would work if I was going to search for the name of it and I knew it was in the O1s. I would just do O1 like that and it would pop up at the top. Or if I typed in here, let's move down this way, and I said quilt, there we go. It brings it up with that tag as well. So then I just select it, make sure it's selected. There we go. And insert. And then I'm going to come over here and I can click and drag my design, and there it is. Let me click off of it. So now I can use that very quickly anytime I'm working with a quilt project or anytime I want this background texture, I will have it. When I select it, you can still see it's a run line, and it doesn't have a type of stitch. So if I want it to be a double or triple, I can change that. Or if I want to give it a pattern, I could do that as well. So I have all those options within here to work with. Let's look at another one. I'm going to go back to here. I have a folder of some Clipart library pieces that I might want to save in Clipart. This one here is my spool guy. I created him a long time ago. He's actually an applique. And so when you look at him, you can see his parts in here of the different pieces and how you would work with him. So they're all located within the design, so it still keeps it that way. And of course, I can turn him into my Clipart library as well. Maybe I want to use him more often. I want to select him first, always select, go to your tools, Clipart Library, create Clipart, and then it gives you that little crosshair. So I'm going to go diagonal on this one. It'll pop in there. There's my new object. So I want to put him as O1, and then I'm just going to do spool guy. And maybe over here, I want to put applique. Maybe, I don't know, sewing. There we go. And if I wanted to, make sure you hit enter or return to get those to save. And then when I want to use that, I'm going to close this and come back. Let's go to open a new page, and we'll go back to my Clipart Library and insert. So you can see there he's at the top. Of course, I can do a search by tag. And if I just come down here to applique, let's see. Oops. If I could spell, that would be good. Again, if I could spell. There we go. Applique, I would just select him, go to insert. He's on a diagonal, and I could pull down like that. Now he looks kind of funny there, but he will pop in and be perfect. So there he is. All his pieces are over here as they are. They're all grouped together. I could ungroup them, and then I could work with the individual parts. So if there's something I want in here, if I want to change them any way I want to, I can. So he's very easy to find that way. Now, the one thing you cannot save to your Clipart library is something that's already a JEF file. So this is a JPX, which is a JEF file. when I open up the mushrooms, here they are, if I wanted to save those in my Clipart library and I selected them, let's see what happens. They are raw data over here. So that means they do not have the properties or the elements that will go into your Clipart library. So let's just try it. I'll go to Tools, Clipart Library, Create Clipart, and then I'll click and drag, and it's in there. And let me just say, I'll just do O1 mushroom, and then enter. And let's close it. Let's go back to it. I'm going to slide this over to the side. We'll go back to Tools, Clipart Library, Insert. I'm going to select it and insert, and let's see what happens. There's nothing there. Because when a Jeff design comes in, it does have its elements of embroidery in there, and you could do a few things with them. You can't edit nodes. Let me see here if I open that part up and go back. Let's select this part again. I could edit my stitches in there. So if I needed to fix a stitch, I could edit the stitches that are in there. See, I could come in here, maybe this little stitch is out of order. But in order for me to put this in my Clipart library, I would have to convert it to curves. So when I do that, and you can convert just a section, like say I like this part, I can do convert to curves. It changes it to a step fill, and then I could change it back to a satin, or whatever, a satin with a pattern. But when I do that, that's when it gives it the elements to create it into Clipart. Okay, so if you already have Jeff designs, you'll have to save those in your folders to use them and bring them in. But if they are draw designs, this is a draw design here, and I'm going to open him up. I'm going to select him, and I can go to my Clipart library, Tools, Clipart Library, and Create. Use my click and drag. There he is there. I'm going to name him O1 Dino. And I'm not, oops, spelling is not my top priority here. Enter so that I have him in there. I'm going to close it. If I go back to it, you'll see it in there. And insert. And there he is. I'll select him, and I can hit insert, and then I can click and drag him over here. There he is. Now, one thing I want to show you, now that we have a design in there that we put in there, we can go back to insert. I put in this design, but it's not working, or any of these designs. When I click on them, I can left click and then right click, and I can change the tag, the name, or I can delete it. So I'm going to delete it because I don't need it in there. Okay. And this one here with the texture, I would probably redo this one with a dark color so that I would be able to see it a little bit better. Or maybe in the tag, I would put, square or something, texture square. Maybe that's it, square shape or something, because it's more linear and squarish. But something, if you can't see exactly what that is, I could get close and see it, but you might not be able to see what's in there. So that's how you would remove something from here if you didn't want it anymore. You can also draw things and use what you draw. So if we go to freehand shape, and I draw a little design here. So maybe I want to draw my little fun flower. Well, here, let's go continue on here. There we go. And I'm going to select that. It is a running line. If I needed to make any changes to it beforehand, I could put edit nodes in here, and I could come in here and maybe I want this node at the top more, like that, and I could play around with my nodes. So I could get it all fixed up before I put it in there. And when I'm ready to put it in, I'm going to select it, go to my tools, go to Clipart Library, Create, get my little crosshair and drag it. There it is. And I can name it again, O1 flower. And then maybe in the tag, I want to put run line. So if I'm looking for things that are run line, I could search by things that were run line and then enter again so that it's saved. And then it actually still has me in the tool. There we go. So let's go back to the tool. Anytime you are still in a tool, you can go to selection to turn it off. Let's go to insert. We'll just click on it, click insert. There it is. So now I could bring in, you know, this design and rework it if I wanted to, play with it the way it is, whatever I want to do with it. So I find this to be a very, very handy feature. You could do it with your shapes. Well, let's do this. Let's just go to a new page. If you had your shapes in here, maybe you were doing this, your trapezoid, and you wanted your slant at 60. There it goes. So you're going to say you're going to make a tall, narrow thing like this. And it has a, do you want the outline or not? Maybe you don't want an outline. Maybe you want it to be a satin outline. Maybe this is the base. Let's make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to select it. Maybe this is the base for a patch. So you might want a satin serial around the outside of it. You can change the width of that. So you have, let's see what that looks like. So you have your inside part of your patch, and then you have this outline. If you use a shape all the time, create it and make it a clip art so it's easy to find every time. You can resize, of course, and work with it from there. It's a lot easier to find them, I think. Always select, go to your tools, clip art library, create, and then there's my crosshair. Let's just go across this way. There it is. I'm going to say 01, and I'm going to say patch. There we go, and just return. And I'm done with that one, so I'm going to close. If I go back to find it, of course, here it is. Clip art library, insert. I'm going to select it, insert here. I could also click on it and enter it that way. There we go. So now I have my patch again. So I can also edit it. All my editing is still available over here. So this gives us another way to work with other things, that anything that we have. If we converted maybe we had, and I don't think I have one. Let me see if I have one available. Let's see. I don't think there's one in here. I was looking for something that I brought in from like a clip art that I converted. If you bring in an SVG file, you know that it automatically converts to stitches, and then you can use it from there. It doesn't come in as a JEF file, so it will come in as and I'm not sure I have something in here. Let me see in my favorites. Wait a minute. Spool guys that were text. Yeah, I don't think there's a clip art in here, like a SVG file. I don't have one on my stick, and I don't have them saved unless they're in my, well, this is a JPEG. So I could convert that and bring that in, of course. That would work. So let's see if I have, I don't think I have. So this here, I would have to convert it. So I would do auto digitize, of course, and okay. Here I could do accuracy color limit 2, like that, and trace. There it is. So if I want to keep this design, when I select it, it does have its properties over here. I can go to my tools, clip art library, create clip art. There it is. And I can do AO Sun and enter. Let's close that. Of course, I can go back and get it again. You've seen this before. Insert. There's my sun. Insert. click and drag, there it is. Now, if I wanted to, on my original in here, I might have wanted to remove some of the background on here. So if I select this outer part, there it's selected here, I can exit out. So now I just have the sun without that background. I could save that as well under a different topic, Tools, Clipart Library, Create, drag, there it is. And of course I can put 01 and I could put, you know, sun only. There we go. So I have that. And then enter. Here we go. We'll go back and pick that up. And sun only is right there. Let's insert it. There we go. And I have it, my nice little sun right there. Okay. So this gives you one more thing to work with. Some of us may have trouble finding some of our files, and if we create some cool things, I think it's great to put it in there. One of the things I can save in there, which I think is kind of cool, let me go to my browser, and I think it's in here. Not in there. Where's my, I don't know where, I had the wreath from the other day. Oh, maybe it's in my, is it on my welcome page? Let's see if it's here. No, we did that rainbow wreath. I can save that in there. I could bring it back up and save it. Then I don't have to go look for it. That's another one I could put in there. So it's very handy. Some of your letterings, like this is a Jeff file here. This, I cannot save that into there, okay, because it's a Jeff file. Let's select it. It doesn't have properties. I could convert it. I'd have to convert every letter in this font if I wanted to. I could leave it like this as a step fill and then bring it in and work with it from there if I wanted to. And it is a satin fill, so I could just put satin in there and play with the satin stitches. So now I could add it to there. All right, that would be one way to add some of those fonts that you bring in. But for me, I would just keep all those fonts in one folder. And of course, I would put the folder right here in my browser and add it to my favorites so that they would be right here, always handy. That's another way to keep things very handy. This is just a short link to what is in your devices. So in here, I will be searching my computer, and once I found what I wanted, I can right click on it. Let's go back here to my no name. Here we go. And if I wanted to add this texture to my favorites, I could right click on it. I could remove it, which I don't want to, that deletes it. I could add it to favorites, and then it actually is on my USB stick, so it may not stay, but there it is there if I wanted to pull it up that way. So you can add folders to your favorites as well. So that's a nice thing. And you can remove them if you just, it'll just remove it from the favorites. But if you remove it down here out of devices, then it will remove it, delete it totally. So you want to be careful about that. All right, so let's go back to the camera. Remember, if you have comments, I should have said this at the top, but I forgot. If you have comments today, feel free to post them. I will come back afterwards and look. Sometimes I look while I'm working, and sometimes I just can't look. So make sure you post them in the comments. I'll come back and make any answers that you have. Remember, you can find us on this page here, the Janome Sewing Machines page. We also have our videos over on the Janome Artistic Digitizer page. That starts, you want to search with Janome Artistic Digitizer. It's the one with the blue banner. We have lots of tutorials and videos and help over there if you need help with your software. We're always happy to give you a hand with anything that you have. You can post your makes over there. We love to see those as well. So thank you for joining me in the studio today. Have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.